G'day you cheeky dogs! Yeah, I'm not in America anymore. I've actually travelled all the way to Australia to see Blueys World, and yes, I did actually also move here too. But I wanted to see if the hype was worth it or not because the reviews on Google are not good in any way.
Oh, biscuits.
But it looked so amazing, so I had to see it for myself. And honestly, I wasn't disappointed. However, my son, who is in the target audience range for Bluey, was actually pretty upset about it. But I'll talk about that in a second.
Is this the airport?
Yes, you just made it.
Now, of course, traveling from America, I needed my phone to have super fast data or data speeds, as you might call it. And I was able to do that thank you to today's sponsor, Saley, for helping me with an eSIM. So real quick, if you are traveling abroad or overseas, then you need a travel SIM, or these days it's an eSIM, so that you can use all the apps on your phone because not every country has Wi-Fi, especially Australia. We do not do free Wi-Fi much at all.
Cheese and crackers.
And Saley's eSIM is NordVPN's answer to this. And we all know that we love NordVPN on my channel for allowing us to watch all the new Bluey episodes before they're released worldwide. So with Saley's eSIM, it is super simple. You just download the app before you travel, or you can also do it afterwards, but it definitely is easier doing it before you travel, so then you can set it all up. You select what data plan you want to use, and then you add in my promo code AussieGirlMargie to get a 15% discount. And voila, everything is set up before you fly.
I'm the pilot.
So literally, as soon as you get off the plane, you have data straight away. Your plan is all activated, so you can let your family and friends know that you arrived safely, you can order an Uber, and you can look up how to get to Blueys World on Google Maps. They have over 180 countries available, so you don't have to deal with random data charges or data roaming charges when you arrive in a different country, and they also have 24/7 support. So don't forget to get an exclusive 15% discount on the Saley eSIM data plan. Just download the Saley app and use code AussieGirlMargie at the checkout. I'll make sure there's also a link for it as well in the description box and the comment section down below, but let's get back over to Bluey World now that we have data.
Well, I should hope so.
Now, Blueys World was actually off to a pretty rough start. It was meant to open in August 2024, but actually didn't open until November 2024. And that's where some of the first initial negative reviews came in because it wasn't finished even when it did open. And people noticed it. The camping area and the creek area still hadn't finished. So they did offer those people free tickets to come back once those parts were finished again. But even on top of that, it was the fact that they were charging children who were 1 and older adult prices. And the prices were not cheap. And this was a little bit of an outrage to the point where Ticketek, which is the company who does all the tickets, actually then sent out another email saying, oh no, we're so sorry, we'll make sure it's free up into 2-year-olds. So 2 and under could come for free, but after that they had to pay adult prices. Which again, for a theme park that's aimed at little kids, it does seem a little bit money hungry, cash grabby kind of feeling to it.
Monies! Monies! Monies!
Because most theme parks in Australia are at least 3 and older you have to pay, and even then there's child prices. But for the price that they're charging people on the weekends, which is the peak time, it's $64, and on a weekday it's $49.
Correction, you found my monies.
Hey, that's ours!
Plus as well, if you're ordering online, which of course everyone is, there's the extra costs as well with that. But basically for 1 adult and 1 child on an off-peak time, it's $115.
I am a rich lady.
Which is really a lot to ask for a single venue theme park that has strict entry times as well. But as I mentioned, I had a lot of fun there. I did really, really like it.
This place is nuts!
However, my son really liked it up until a point where the magic just was completely broken for him. And that was the moment when he realized that Bluey and Bingo were fake.
Ow, I knew it!
And for a very expensive experience that is meant to be about Bluey's World, Bluey and Bingo are not actually in it, and neither is Bandit and Chili. Their voices are, and that was sort of one of the other really big complaints that I was seeing. And I think that they made just such an amazing effort to make you feel like you were literally in Bluey's World. They did recreate it amazingly. All the set pieces were incredible, the music was great. It really did feel like you were in there living that experience.
They stay with them all the way back to the colder waters.
Wasn't there something about an alpaca farm?
Why is she wearing purple underpants?
Wow, that is
special.
The cubby room was one of my personal favorites, but yeah, the creek and the camping scenes were also really cool. And I think obviously that was the point. You're meant to feel like you're there, but the characters that you interact with aren't the characters that we're used to really seeing in Bluey.
Jeremy, no!
We start off with the fairies, who have sort of come to life in bigger versions, and they are really cute, they're really energetic, but you just cannot hear them. They also set up the expectation that like the characters had come to life, like real life, and then the gnomes, who also continue with part of the tour, kind of, you know, add to that they have also come to life. So you sort of expected like all the characters to be coming to life, especially from a child's perspective.
This is my first time talking to people.
And I feel like this is like one of the parts where it seemed a little bit like false advertisement, because a lot of the promo videos that were being sent around made it really look like you would get to meet properly Bluey and Bingo, and that like they would be touring you around the house and there'd be a lot more interactions with them, and that is just not the case at all. Like I said, you only ever hear them over the speakers during like the house tour, same with Bandit and Chili, and that again was another really big problem, was the fact that you just could not hear them.
Can you follow you, Ma?
So many reviews state that they just wish that the fairies and the gnomes had mics on, or actual mic packs, because the actors, they did a fantastic job. They were so energetic. They were trying to be as loud as they could be, but in such a like big kind of space at time with a lot of kids who are really noisy and really excited, you can't hear what they're saying at any time. Multiple times my children came up to me asking me, oh, what did they say? What did they say? What's happening now? Like, even if you're standing right next to them, a lot of the time you still couldn't really hear them. Even the part where like Unicorns pops up, you cannot hear what he's saying over the noise of everything else. And even reviews that gave Blueys World 4 stars, like they obviously really loved it, they still had this exact same problem, that the actors were not mic'd up. Now, honestly, like I said, the rooms were so incredible that a lot of the time the kids, I guess, didn't really mind so much because they were having so much fun playing around. But I guess the people who do really mind were probably the parents, specifically their wallets, because they did pay for a really expensive experience. And it's such a simple solution of just giving the characters mic packs. The next really big issue was kind of what a lot of people were saying, was they felt like they were rushed through the tour. So it's 40 minutes to go all the way through the house and the different scenes and everything like that. And at the beginning, I felt like everything was fine. Like it was a good amount of time we spent in each of the rooms, and it didn't really feel like we were rushed until we got to like the playroom that was attached to the kitchen.
Sorry, ladies!
And both of these rooms were amazing, but they were filled with a lot of activities for the kids to play and do. Meanwhile, also trying to listen to the gnome to find out what's happening with the story. But there was just so much happening that you cannot go through both rooms at all. Like my children didn't even make it really into the kitchen except for like 3 seconds before we left, because I said, hey, quick, here's the long dog, come have a look in the kitchen. But I felt really bad because the kitchen again was amazing, and it even had its own interactive elements in it for you to play with, but just none of the kids got the chance to, because there was already so much stuff happening in the living room before we were then quickly ushered on to get into the backyard. The backyard, however, we did get a good amount of time there. You got to do nail salon as well as play keepy uppy, and that was great.
Oh, delightful.
But then it was a really quick rush through the creek area. I feel like we really barely got to experience that. And then the camping part was, I feel like, a little bit more for adults. It was a bit of like a tearjerker kind of situation. And then that was it. Bam, you were done.
Ready? Yeah, high five. High five.
And then this is the part where my son got upset, because this is the section then where they separate you into 2 groups, and there is a different Bluey and Bingo at each section, which you can quite clearly see, and they're just standing there for the photo opportunity, and that is it. And whilst that's really cool to obviously get a photo with them, you can tell that like it's just not the same energy, because it is literally just people in the costume. They can't talk, they can't really interact in any way, and they're just doing a quick hug and then ushering you on so the next person get in. And that's when my son got really upset. He literally turned to me, he's like, I thought Bluey and Bingo were going to be alive. Those are just people in costumes.
High five. Can you give a high five?
And he was only 4 at this time, and he could realize it. And seeing that magic get just lost and just completely disappear, and the whole spell of the whole experience just be broken, was really upsetting as a parent. And especially because this is for a 4-year-old who is, again, the target audience. Yeah, I feel like this was a really big failing part of the whole experience. It was that you don't get to be with Bluey or Bingo in any way, realistically. Now, luckily, straight after that part, you do actually get given a Bluey activity book, and then you're straight into the gift shop, which is a very good distraction for little kids. And of course, I let my kids pick out something that they would like. We've got some long dogs, we've got some floppy bunnies, we've got a bunch of little fun things for them. And that did help cheer my son up. And then the outside area, of course, again, is really beautiful. The playground is done really well and it's a great experience for kids. They get the time to play around that. And of course, I let them do that while I went off to look at the food, which, what a surprise, again, was another complaint that some people had. And I mean, theme park food is never really that great, but I do have to say that I love their attention to detail to make it as like Bluey-fied as possible, with like the takeaway shop and having the fish and chips, which were not great. My kids did not touch them. But the pizzas weren't too bad, and I do love like the little jokes they had about Bandit not liking mushrooms on them.
I want one supreme with no mushrooms. No mushrooms?
No mushrooms.
Great.
This is what happens when you're unhappy with what you've got. Someone's husband eventually gets it.
The details they had even on like the road outside were really cool, and little homages to different parts of Bluey. And then of course at the very end is where you see like the photo booth area where you can pick up your photos that were meant to be taken like at different times throughout the experience. And that's where I maybe personally got a little bit miffed, because it turns out that they were meant to, at the very beginning, they give you like your ears, which is really cool. You get Bandit, Chili, Bluey or Bingo ones, and then they're meant to give you a QR code and then take your picture in front of the Bluey house. But they did not do that for us or for anyone else who was in our group at that time that I could see. So the only pictures I got was of my husband and my kids, which was not a great one, and then just this of me and my husband. So I was a little bit sad that like we didn't get to have a cool picture in front of the house. That would have been awesome, but I don't know, maybe it was just new people on that day and they were just feeling a bit of a rush. And of course, those photos you get at the end with Bluey and Bingo, what a surprise, they are super expensive, just like any theme park photo opportunity is.
And 5 years till the next trip to Crazy World.
Now, I do have to say, weeks later, my kids do still talk about Blueys World when they see something Bluey, when they see my backdrop, when they see like the picture from Blueys World. So it did leave a very positive impression on them, even though my son did have a very negative experience during it. So the fact that it did leave them with fond memories is definitely then a win in my book. And of course, I did want to share with you some of like the cute kind of funny moments that they have. One of them is the toilets, and they have underneath it saying like tactical wheeze.
It's very clever, Bingo.
It's called a tactical wee.
I thought that was really funny and cute, although I do wish that they'd had step stools in the toilet so the kids could actually reach the sinks. Seems like a no-brainer. This is a theme park for small children. Surely you would like them to wash their hands.
Bingo, stop playing. Finished!
But of course, there was lots of other hidden details, such as the hidden long dogs as well. I tried to find as many of them as I could in each and every room. I feel like maybe I found them all, but I'm sure there's probably one or two that I missed. So if you did go to Blueys World and you found other long dogs, let me know in that comment section down below.
Find the long dog.
I'm done.
Now, I do have to say, I did get an email from Blueys World a few weeks later offering me a discounted ticket for $39 to come back to Blueys World. And this wasn't like a special thing for me. It was just like a general email that you got. And I feel like if it was doing as well as it should have been, there's no way that they'd be sending out emails like that. And honestly, even a $10 discount, whilst that does make it a bit cheaper, it's still a pretty expensive experience. So is it actually worth all that money? A lot of people will say no, but I do think if you are a massive Bluey fan and you really love it and your kids love it, then yeah, you will have a fantastic time in there. It is really amazing what they built and created. However, if just your kids really love Bluey and you're kind of like it's all right, I think that you will walk away being kind of disappointed. And honestly, if you came all the way to Brisbane, you probably would enjoy going to all the other locations that different episodes are based on instead, like South Bank or even some of the playgrounds.
And whoosh.
Wow.
And
So if you want to go, definitely set your expectations kind of low, but enjoy the creativity that they did with it, but do not expect to see really Bluey, Bingo, Bandit or Chili. It's probably my best advice, I would say. But cheeky dogs, if any of you have gone to Blueys World, please let me know in that comment section down below what you thought of the experience, what you really liked about it, what maybe you didn't like about it. I'm really curious how some of you guys who are obviously big fans of Bluey felt about the experience as well. And if you were thinking about going, have you changed your mind, or has this convinced you that yes, you think you would still really like it? I'd like to know all your thoughts and feelings down below. And while you're down there as well, don't forget to hit all the buttons, a like button, subscribe button, and that bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any other Bluey video. And again, if you are traveling overseas at any time, don't forget to download the Saily app so you can get the eSIM for your phone, so you have really cheap data no matter where you go, and using my discount Aussie Girl Margie at the checkout to get 15% off. But until my next video, I have picked your cheeky dogs out a few other videos that maybe you would like to watch, and I'll see you all in another video. Bye!